Well, I can't quit you, baby, but I gotta put you down for a while. Well, you know I can't quit you, baby, but I gotta put you down for a while. Yes, you messed up my happy home, baby. You made me mistreat my only child. Yes, you know I love you, baby. My love for you, I could never hide. Oh, you know I love you, baby. My love for you, I could never hide. Yes, you know I love you, baby. Well, you know you're my desire. When you hear me moaning and groaning, baby, you know it hurts me deep down inside. Yes, when you hear me moaning and groaning, baby, oh, you know it hurts me deep down inside. Yes, when you hear me holler, baby, well, you know my desire.
If I do the right thing here real quick, Magic Box, I'll be able to hear you. If you said something right now, I would not. I should be able to hear you now if you speak up. Oh, Common Senseguy's here too. Y'all snuck up on me. I thought I was going to have a little time to go on a little tirade, a little diatribe.
No, do it anyway, Mr. Ogre. We're here. We're listening.
Oh, well, I'm going to just slightly. What I want to do is just call out for the meme wars have commenced. And I have been, and I've got to say, this lefty is doing it right. Doing it right. But I'm going to run out of memes eventually. I still got quite a few left. I just want to share this with everyone here. This is so funny. So I don't mess it up and get the progression properly. So I seen this, you know, old crazy Pelosi got up there and did her 8-hour Sambo shuck and jive, her soft shoe. Look at me, massa. Look at me dancing, shuck and jive for you, massa. Look at this. And then, because if you remember, she was up there and then the Dreamers were like yelling at her. It's all over. Anybody that knows who Nancy Pelosi is and hates her like I do, they've seen the footage of her up there. And then she was like, no, you don't understand. And it's a bunch of Dreamers telling her she sucks because there's nothing you can do. That's why one of my favorite quotes is, "Hearken, friends, when freedom fails, the best men rot in stinking jails, and those that cried, appease, are hung by those they tried to please." It's best not to try to please someone. It's best to do what's right, if you can please people that you care about in the process of doing what's right, which is always my goal. People that know me hopefully would attest to that. If not, I've failed them somehow. That I think would be the greatest thing that humans could aspire to. So this is what happened. All that philosophy aside, this is great. It's a meme war. So Crazy Pelosi, 4-inch heels. I responded with my iconic meme. I made this meme. I've seen it. Somebody jolted my creative juices, and before I've ever seen anything like this, I put this up here. Well, this was the next one that this person memed. Trump Tower. Look at that. I mean, hey, look, I don't say the left can't meme, okay? But I want you to follow me here. I want you to follow me. I'll tell you when I made the meme that I counter with or when it's one that I just picked up along the way like a snowball. So Trump Tower. So I sent this one and I picked this one up. In fact, you can see it stamped Buzzle, whatever that is. Deport the illegals, every last Juan. And they came back with, hey, hombre Trump, here's our first installment payment for the wall. And you got Vicente Fox, and I don't know who this beaner is, but you got these two beaners giving you the old one finger salute the way we do it. This is the same thing as this over there, lads. I think y'all know that. So I sent this one. I did not make this one. I picked this one up along the way. Get in, pussy. We're making America great again with Trump pointing the old Glock right at you. So right back with this one. This was good. I don't know if this guy's making these, but this is a good one. MAGA, my ass got arrested. Look, I'm not supposed to laugh at the opposition.
I have to say that one is actually quite funny. That one,
yeah, I can't. I'm not supposed to laugh at the opposition's memes, right? Common sense, but you got to give credit where credit's due.
Exactly. I think that one's very, very good. I have to say
funny.
That one.
That was good. So I went back with another one that I did not make, but I picked this one up along the way. Did you know 1 out of 3 Hillary supporters are just as stupid as the other 2?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. And they came back with this. I'm sure they didn't make because I've seen this one before, and it's the Trump porn. I thought this one was a little slack. It's funny, but I thought this was digging a little bit to the barrel. Now I made this one.
You did
so
indeed.
I sent this. Now make me a vodka and rainwater and get whatever you want, Mandrake. All this commie bullshit makes me thirsty. And you'll only really get that reference if you know anything about Dr. Strangelove. That really is, that will hit right home. And so that's where we're at right now.
What, you stopped?
Well, no, now I'm expecting now one notification. Let's look in real time. This could be from this person. Oh, yes, it is. A copy of my birth certificate is stapled to your indictments. Ooh, and this looks homemade. Shall we make a meme in real time, boys? Is that too gay? Is that too craft time stupid? Because I can pop paint up real quick, throw a picture in there, and we can think of something to
as it's not the start of the show. As it's not start of the show, let's do it.
You want to do it?
As it's not the start of the show just yet.
You could do something along the lines of here's my tax return, basically staple to your what they call it when what's called the warrant.
We'll brainstorm. Let me get a picture up. So what should a picture be? Let me run through a little bit. I've not really tried this, but I'm sure that we're all smart enough to any ideas on the pitch on what picture we should start with?
Probably a picture of Trump holding a piece of paper.
So let me go to here and just go Trump.
Because I'm kind of thinking the same bit of what Magic Bollocks is thinking. And something along the lines of, well, here's my indictment. Where's your birth certificate? Something along that sort of thing.
So something like this right here. We could even go over this piece. If you want something that looks like, because I can take this and we can redo this and paint real quick.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
Yeah, that looks like an FBI warrant for Obama's arrest.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now you're talking. Now we're brainstorming. So that's actually fine. I can go with that same name is fine there.
Ooh,
this is interesting, gentlemen. This is interesting to me.
I've got one. For the thing, we can quite easily something along the lines of, this may not be my indictment, but this is your treasonous pledge.
Okay, it's got to be easy. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Ogre. It's got to be something that's good, but it's got to be something very easy to understand. You know, you dig it. So we could do that. This is my indictment, but here's your treasonous pledge. But it said, oh, let me don't do that. Let's see first. Let me just.
By the way, I've got a new microphone. Can everybody tell me if it's sounding okay or if it's
I was
too
going to
loud?
say, Common Sense, you sound very good today.
Woo!
Yeah, the old sexy undertones are even better than normal.
Oh yeah.
Do you know, I think we confused Coach Red Pill a little bit. I actually think he now thinks we're a gay couple.
We are a gay couple.
Mercy.
He was totally confused by the way we were talking to each other after on Monday. I honestly think he thinks that me and Common Sense have got a thing on.
To be fair, he must think I must have a thing for him then as well, because he's tweeted a couple of things out that I've tweeted to him where I've gone, oh yeah, don't worry, call me honey.
So look, boys, we've all been following this this whole
how about I pledge to deport all failed DACAs.
Oh no, I wanted to do with Obama because the last one was
no, that's the point, Mr. Ogley. Hear me out. I pledge to deport all illegal DACAs, including Kenyans.
Well, you wouldn't be allowed on DACA. I don't mind that. Let's keep brainstorming.
The reason they say the left can't meme is because the right, or maybe not the right, but people who aren't offended by every fucking thing under the sun will meme about anything, and we don't care how offensive it is. But there is a tipping point for the left where they will just go into full meltdown because you dared say something that you shouldn't have done. And the whole point of memes is you're able to take the piss out of anything.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
whatever, boys. Carry on. We got to brainstorm though. I won't even lie. So far,
hang on, here comes one.
I've got one. As I can't find your birth certificate, get the fuck out.
Oh man.
Has anybody in the chat got any good ideas?
Hey, how about this one? Remember the last one started with Vince Foster. That might be too hard to understand too. All right, that was bad. So I kind of docked this up because I'm just going to take a signature. I can just say pledge at the top. I'll give us a little more room to put some smaller type here. Let me go back to this text. Come on, anybody in the chat saying anything halfway decent? Because so far we've got bollocks. We've got some okay things, but nothing great.
I've got one. Pledge. I pledge to deport. I pledge to deport all illegal immigrants, including Obama.
Yeah, we're getting there, aren't we? Definitely. Oh, I like that one Seven just put up. Guantanamo Bay's new menu.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay, so I can take pledge out there too. So far, that one is a winner, boys. I won't even lie.
No, it is. It definitely is. I agree with you.
That is the definite right now. That's the gold star. So
yeah, is that Guantanamo Bay's new menu? First off, Obama soup, followed by the Hillary rump.
Oh dear! Why the rump? Why the rump? Why the rump? There's no need for a rump. Especially Hillary.
It's probably the toughest part of her common sense.
I don't know. She falls on her ass a lot.
What should we have to put in? A bit of Pelosi pie?
Somebody's got to tell me how to spell Guantanamo Bay.
Oh, Ain't Jack's got one. Get your real birth certificate for 50.
You know how these lefties are. So menu is definitely MENU. How do you spell Guantanamo Bay? Someone.
Well, it's in the chat, Mr. Ogre. Old Seven spelled it.
I'll do it all. Just relax, dude.
Guan.
Hang on now. All right, now he's gonna kill me quick. So Guan.
TAN. IMO.
IMO. Is it all one word?
Yeah, that's all one word, and then you get Bay.
Okay, that's what I meant. So Bay is a different word. I'm sure it's also capitalized.
I think you might have spelled it wrong. I think it's Guantanamo, not no.
Yeah, it's Mo. M-O.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yes. Wrong keystroke. That was just a fat finger. All right, I think. So that's correct?
No. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm looking it on the other bit. Sorry, it's fine. Don't worry.
Guantanamo Bay.
Correct.
And I put menu Guantanamo Bay. I think that was. Actually, you know what? It could be presidential menu or PR. No, because he's actually a president too, so that might not look good. Hey, but the first one could be collard greens and ham hocks.
I
mean, they're very
like
flat.
the Obama soup. I like the Obama soup as the first one on the menu.
Obama soup?
Obama soup, yeah.
Okay. So okay, that's good for lunch. We gotta start with breakfast. What's for breakfast, boys?
I was going to say, Obama soup is made from real Michelle tears.
No. Clinton juice.
Oh,
Clinton juice has got to be for breakfast.
Extracting from
breakfast.
Extracted from at least 3 women.
Exactly.
This has got to be one of the weirdest streams we've ever done, but I'm liking it.
I'm so glad it's not on my channel.
You know what? That's actually good. Just if we just left it at this, gentlemen. I'm not even kidding. I could move this down. No, I wouldn't make the thing any larger, but because if we start going into breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I don't have enough room here without making the type really, really tiny. If I do this, I can bolden it up.
You've got to put something on for Obama then.
Or I could put halal a menu. Halal menu.
Let's not play into them. They actually think that we're actually meaning what we're saying then.
Okay.
Yeah.
After all, the left are not too auspicious when it comes to working out a meme.
Because the thing is that, I mean, the ones they've done, they're fine and all that, but you just know that all they're doing is targeting Trump. As soon as you start mocking their great hero, who is, of course, you know, the great uncorruptible Obama, then that's when they start getting quite triggery, especially if you think you're going after him because of his race.
Oh, instead of putting Guantanamo menu then, why don't you put get your green card, get your green card? As it's to Obama. Nobody knows his birth certificate, get your green card.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, I might throw this one at him.
It's
pretty slick shot.
I see Quinn's sister has been putting some very interesting memes on Discord, Mr. Ogre.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Jensen's just asked me to ask you to have a look at the Discord, Ogre. Apparently there's some decent memes on there.
I'm not giving up yet.
Oh dear. Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be. It has to be. So how do I? Put the pen. Okay, and I use that one, but
Trump.
I don't want him to deport me. Oh, that's it right there.
I was going to say, I don't know if she can hear us, but the fucking last one she's put up is brilliant. Time to put the panic back in Hispanic.
Well, yeah. Yes, we can also use that. I'm going to keep this one for right now, and I'm probably going to put this. I'm going to keep this though. This menu Guantanamo Bay. I think I'm going to keep that. That was pretty good for spur of the moment, boys. Thank you so much for indulging me on that.
Not a problem.
Memeing in real time. Welcome to the Ogre Show.
Yes, why not? Why not? And then I'll show you all this one because this is freaking hilarious. This is the one I'm going to send right now.
You're not sub to the Ogre. Fucking sub to the Ogre.
I love this. How do I stop Trump? I don't want him to deport me when he wins. I mean, that's just brilliant. Oh, goodness gracious. So. And then I can't spend a lot of time paying attention to this person. We were doing it. It was taking about, that last one's really good too. Oh my goodness. I can't put that up though, and she knows it. So anyway, boys, we could act like we're going to, thankfully I didn't have Discord pulled up where everybody can just see it. Because I almost am knowing better now because of Quinn's little sister. And that's what I had, gentlemen. I thought it was funny. Let me really reply to this with that. That went to my desktop. I'm almost sure, right? Didn't I save that? Did I save that? Oh, yes, right here. That's a good meme. That's a solid meme. And what I like about this too, folks, I got to give it to this person, is no one has said a bleeding word to the other one. I haven't said a bleeding word to this moron. And they probably think the same of me. Probably think I'm a moron or whatever. But they haven't said a bleeding word to me. It's just meme. And I do really enjoy that. So thank you so much, Queen Bee. Anybody else, Discord's the best place, man. Meme war. And see if we can't bury this tart and just an avalanche of shit falling down on their head with Pepe riding it like a fucking wave with a surfboard.
May I do a little bit of housekeeping for next week?
Sure, man. Yeah. I'm done.
Luckily, go on.
I'm done. Yeah.
That's fine, mate. Not a problem. I was going to say for everybody in the chat and everything else like that, next Friday, hopefully on my channel, depends if I can get my situation actually sorted out. If not, it will be on the Ogre's channel. We're going to have YouTuber and Twitter user Orwell and Good on. So it should be quite interesting. I hope everybody knows who that is. If not, just go onto Twitter. You probably get most of your stories from him and don't even realize it. He's that prevalent. So it should be quite an interesting little bit on next Friday. So very happy to have him on.
I started watching a stream of his last night, and I got pulled away with Baked Alaska having Rashid Khalidov, what's his name, and
Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed.
And
the Black Prince.
Yes, whatever. The Kangs. They tried to get him to say we were Kangs. He would not do it. He's at least you got to give him credit for that. He's not that stupid.
Oh, come on, self-awareness.
And now I'm trying to think of the other guy's name. Mr.
Jared something.
Yeah,
Jared.
Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, yes. And I'm gonna tell you what, there was no way. In fact, Mr. Taylor wasn't even really trying to debate him by the end. It was just a joke. He was running him around in circles. To read is, it's hard for me to gauge. It's a Alex Jones situation where you have someone that is intelligent, obviously, and has spent some time honing, what they're saying to you and how they're going to say it. But does that mean that they believe it? I have a hard time, it's the guy how can he believe what he's saying? He says the black people built the pyramids. What kind of moron believes that? That's been passed down for so long and so carefully that even the Masons, when they do their introduction for a first novice, they go through the myth of, but when it comes down, legend would be a better word because it comes from history, but it's been passed down for so long, of Hiram Abiff, who was a Jewish person that would not give up the secret of setting the cornerstone for the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why Israelites were in the land of Goshen. These things are in the hieroglyphs, not just in the Bible. People come at me like reality's temple on earth. We're going to have a discussion too. It's coming up. What I thought, though, common sense, so I don't go off on this tangent forever, I just cut it off there. We'll get into this stuff, though, and these things that are coming up. What I thought Orwell and Goody was so good. When I come back, he did another stream today. He was great. We should think about having Aries and Snubnub on and let them go at it.
Yeah, I'll try and sort something out for them to a later date.
For the hashtag round 2.
Well, I was going to let them two go first, and then we can have sort of a hash out afterwards at a different date. I think everybody would find it more interesting for a white nationalist, inverted air commas, and a black nationalist, inverted air commas, to go at it.
Yes, with a good peppering of common sense and the rest. You know what I mean?
And the laughing ogre and gesturing from Magic Bollocks.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
Because I want it to be where it wouldn't be a shit fest, but both of those boys, I'm gonna say it right now as people watching, they're both just a little off, a little bit. Very intelligent, both of them too. That's what gets me. With Snubnub, you got a very powerful speaker, an orator, and you have someone that's obviously intelligent. With that kid, Aries, again, very powerful orator, and he's like a sprat,
he's very articulate. If I had to guess right this second out of them two, who would win out of a debate, so to speak, I would probably have to give it to Snubnub, Reality's Temple on Earth. Not because his ideas are any better, but simply because he's been at it longer.
Age experience, that's what I thought too.
Yeah. If I would to be honest. But I would like to see what especially with a little bit of helping hands from both me and Ogre going, we do realize that you two are talking exactly the same things. Why are you two arguing so much about it when you're both wanting your own white states? If you work together, you could get a white state and a black state. I think that would be very, very interesting to put that idea to them.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to actually turn Twitter off now because that person's memeing me back. And I can't pay attention to it right now, and I want to. I have about 20 more, and then some people were already. Oh, I closed Twitter. I'm not going to open it back up. I think it was Crumple Point. If it was, oh no, it was Get the Chopper. I know you recognize that name. Common Sense.
Get the Chopper.
So, I'll let them take care of some of that stuff there while we do our job here. It was a fun week for me, in as much as that I got a lot of wood. I found a really good spot with some nice big pine trees. That a couple of them fell down. In fact, a few of them fell down and just dried right there. And the whole tree branches already fell off, got busted off. They've been laying there. Who knows, man? Maybe 5-10 years. And then there's 2 or 3 that were standing up, but they were in a way. And this is in the woods. They were in a. If the tree's standing up in the woods, look, I'm going off in that direction. That's so stupid. But I'm happy. It was a good week. It was a good week. Yeah, I just don't want to talk about cutting damn trees down all day. That wouldn't really be exciting, let me tell you. And the only exciting thing to me is when I'm done, I'm sitting at home with a cold beer and the hot heat blowing out of the vent. And I'm like, fucking, that's exciting. Yeah, it was a good week, though. I got enough done in this one spot. That was, for me, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was about a 4 in difficulty, 10 being hellacious and 1 being it's right there by the truck. But it was already cured, easy to split, and I got a lot done where I can now take I can take a little time off from cutting wood, a little bit.
Not wrong in that, mate. Nothing wrong in that.
No.
At the end of the day, a good old bit of working always helps the whole body.
Yes. I don't know what you all are doing. I didn't expect to see you Common Sense at all today. Oh, and it's for past that. I thought for sure that Mad Dodge, and he's got so many kids, he's gonna come on because I was filibustering and talking shit. Did y'all know Rand Paul also spoke for quite a long time? It's like Nancy Pelosi and then Rand Paul. Just one of them had I don't know what her reason was. It's kind of crazy to break the law. They want to break the law. And then the other one was, why do we even want to fund the government? Because it costs too much damn money. And I like the sound of that.
I suppose so. What have we got on the agenda for today then, Ogre?
Nothing. That's it. Oh, I mean, I have some other things, some stories. But I just thought that, I don't know. I mean, he's got so many kids. I imagine him sometimes trying to go to the computer, and as he's going, like 2 getting one leg, and then another one's got him on the back shirt tail and pulling him, and they're dragging him down as if like hyenas with a lion. Because you can hear them; they sound like a pack of hyenas in the back. It's like you hear that shit going on back there.
Kind of like that.
Oh, Lord, he's probably there. Oh, there he is. Hey, if you got a little bit of time, get us a spin on this because I don't know how interested the boys are going to be, but I wouldn't mind giving it. Do your thing if you're ready, and then I'd spin off on that for just a minute because I think people should think about this. What Rand Paul was doing last night.
His mic's off at the minute.
Oh, I was just adjusting my microphone. Yeah, I took a couple of highlights I'll throw out for you guys to see what you think. So Rand Paul opens up saying only 4 times in the last 40 years have we done our job, Congress, and voted on each appropriation bill individually. Instead, they release a 700-page bill at midnight the day before they want it passed. No one reads it. And the only one that actually opposes it is Rand Paul. He wants to actually read it. He wants to split the bill up like their job. And he's the bad guy. Oh, Rand's shutting down the government. Boo, Rand. How dare you? You're breaking up, the left and the right, holding hands and singing Kumbaya. It's a bunch of horse shit. Anyway, what do you guys think?
You'd almost think the Republicans were Democrats at that point, wouldn't you?
Well, they both parties, it's bipartisan, this bill. They both want it passed. Right now, the United States of America is borrowing $1 million a minute. A minute, guys. Come on now. That's unsustainable, and Rand knows it.
Minute.
He's not the bad guy here. He is the good guy. Here's another good nugget here. Okay. So I guess they talked to Rand before he did the filibuster and tried to shoot him down. And this is a quote from Rand. They say it's a binary choice, young man. Take it or leave it. Well, I'll leave it. Fucking A, dude. At least somebody has balls in the Senate.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, you know, because I'm a Trump supporter. I supported Trump from the time before I heard Ann Coulter on Bill Maher. I supported Trump before that. So about the same time she probably did. But it's because I've seen his potential to win and that he may shake things up. But I'll be honest, the whole way along, I thought that you know, man, Rand Paul would have been an excellent president. He really would have been, because of the things that he's saying now. These would have been the policies that were being pushed forward. True small government. Trump, I don't see that, man. I mean, I can't lie. And so much bad about Trump. It's hard for me to say this, but I'm going to be honest. I don't see what I was hoping for. And that is this really New World Order ass kicking, Bilderberg teeth busting motherfucking badass riding in like Clint Eastwood and Pale Rider, just fucking everything up, man. Just grabbing bitches off the street and raping them in a haymow and fucking the town up. But it's better though when he's done, even though he did some raping. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that went off on a bit of a tangent. No, but I do understand what you mean, though. You wanted him to get rid of the New World Order.
Well, the raping is like allegory for his texting. You take it to Common Sense, because of course I'm not going to. I mean, we just had.
You mean he's tweeting? You mean he's tweeting?
I don't advocate rape in any way. I think that she would agree. It's the things we need to laughter for are the things that hurt us. I'm just trying to make a rape joke. It's hard to do. Try it. Sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah, I'm not going to do a rape joke. I can't even do normal jokes.
It's a hard sell. I think anything can be funny. So anyway, that's it. That's where I'm at, Mad Dodge, and I don't know how much time you got. So that's where are you at now? Do you have that was 2 points? Do you have like a couple more? What do you got for us before I take all the air out?
I guess I got one more point for you. I still have to rewatch part of the speech for my show tonight. So one last point. He turned his attention to the Pentagon, and this is where the neocons really get mad. But $100 billion is missing from the Pentagon after they did a partial audit. Partial. And what do? We reward them with more money. We have tried for 17 years to get a full audit. What's their response? We're too big to audit. The goal of these people, Rand says. He was literally getting angry. Like, it's just amazing. And he's the only one that will stand up and say this in the Senate. In the House, you have Justin Ermosh and you have Thomas Massey. But that's like 3 people in both the House and the Senate that will stand up for America. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't see how that anybody would actually come out and say, "Yeah, we're too big to audit," but yeah, we've lost 100 billion. Please don't look. Just don't come in. If you do, we might throw a plane into a building again. Not saying anything, just mentioning it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they needed to repair that part of the Pentagon, so they shot a missile at it.
They had just been rebuilt, a large portion that got destroyed. But I tell you what, man, this is what gets me. These people are like, I had 7 brothers and sisters. All right, I'm the youngest, and so I've been in situations where I was the smallest, weakest person there, and I had a older brother or sister that was having a bad day and did something like, I'm not hitting you. I'm not hitting you. I'm like, ow, quit hitting me. I'm not hitting you. I'm not hitting you. I don't know if anybody else has been in a situation like that, either giving the blows or taking the blows, but it's kind of a bogus situation. And that's what this draws to mind. You've got these people that are defending and coming out and going, oh, Trump is ready to throw the entire United States under the bus in order to vindicate himself in the ways and means of the CIA. Sacrosanct, not to be trifled. You know, and this whole just hand-wringing bollocks bullshit. Give me a fucking break, man. These people are scum. And then I get I appreciate Binary Surfer was the one I respected most. Okay, look. Am I saying a rank and filer scum? No. What I'm saying is they're wasting their time and energy in a bullshit career that if they really try, they could apply it somewhere else and be more productive somewhere else, because we don't need these alphabet soup stuff we did. And then, you know, when I say this, people say, well, that was a long time ago. Yes, it was when our nation was just wonderful to live in. Maybe not this thing that we like to be now. Our politicians like to be world power. What difference does it make to me as a citizen if we're a world power? As long as we're not causing wars, as long as they know, just like they know. And I mean, I'm obviously will go on and on. So I'll just curtail myself right now and say, I'm with Rand Paul. You know, these are the same people that were buying hammers for $80,000 and toilet seats for $120,000 in the 80s. These are the same people.
How do you do that?
Well, yes, of course. But of course they didn't. I mean, it's like he said, now because they've got that down, they have to keep track of what they do. But we just heard from Mad Dodge, they lost $100 billion.
Yeah.
Lost it. 100 billion. So now they don't even bother going and making bullshit requisite forms for bullshit that they may not even have bought, and saying that it was many, many thousands of times more than it actually costs, like a $80,000 hammer. You see what I mean, boys?
Definitely. And definitely.
Now they just say 2 fingers up to you lot. Fuck you. We lost the 100 billion. Oh, God, I wish that somebody would just lose 100,000 right here in my rumpus room. I'd be fine with that. They can lose it right here. 100,000, 100 billion. You couldn't put that in my house. That's a lot of money.
It's just amazing to me that people that actually do this, and people that are supposed to be running for the country and the country's best interest or their area's best interest, and they look at a story like this and they go, oh, it's only 100 billion that's lost in the Pentagon. Yeah, it's fine. We don't need to audit them. Oh, yeah, they're coming out and saying, oh, we're too big to audit anyway. Yeah, kind of agree. Probably cost a bit of money to do that. Yeah, you're going to save the 100 billion by auditing it. So, let's do that. Let's actually make sure that we actually, keep like we would do a private business, keep it under thumb. Make sure that we know what they're spending. Where's your receipt for that 100,000 grand toilet? Well, let me see that receipt, please.
100 grand toilet.
Exactly.
I'd like to see that myself.
It's that solid gold toilet that we got sent from what was it, Germany or something?
Yes, that did look the bollocks, didn't it?
It did, magically.
I'll tell you what, mate, what's good? If you sat on that, you'd never have a dirty ass again.
Well, not to get off into conspiracy theory, but I believe they don't want to be audited because they're funneling that money to some people they're not supposed to be funneling it to. I think there is something fishy going on in the Pentagon. I don't think you magically lose $1 million or $1 billion, however much it is.
Well, to be fair, Mad Dodge, now you know how we feel with the EU. They've never been audited once in their whole existence.
Yeah, never. But no, Mad Dodge brings up a really good point. Yeah, we're too big to audit. No, you've got some secrets to hide. That's the same reason why the EU, as Magic Bollocks brings up, doesn't want to be audited. Because then you have to explain why this money's going out to particular people, maybe some freedom fighter groups that have different names that maybe shouldn't be actually being funded by the US, maybe. Same as in Europe. Maybe there's a couple of political parties like Renew Britain that might be paid and bought by the EU. You just don't know until you audit them.
Do you have any suspicions, Common Sense?
Yeah, Renew Britain's completely and utterly paid for by Macron and the people that backed Macron. And the people who backed Macron was Soros.
Oh, that name again. He seems to come up a lot these days, doesn't he? He must love the internet.
He does love the internet because everybody keeps on telling him that he's for democracy, and people actually believe that shit.
I just can't believe he's still alive. He's got to be about 233 years old, isn't he?
Well, that's what happens when you're a billionaire. You can buy as many hearts as you like.
That's past pensioner age there.
Exactly.
Well, what's good? It didn't stop Rockefeller from finally croaking it. So there's hope yet to get rid of that arsehole.
Well, it depends if you're David Icke. David Icke says that he's just recuperating. You know, he's regenerating.
Oh, I see. He's gone back into the lizard containment system, is he?
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
I love David Icke.
And every once in a while, to rejuvenate.
Exactly. Yeah.
The reptile people.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's correct. Yep.
He is amazing, David Icke.
I did not know that this was going to be this type of stream.
Why not? It's Friday. Let's go wild.
Hey, wait a minute.
Well, David, I get some things right, but he loses me with that reptile shit. And the moon's hollow, you know?
Yeah,
the original
moon one
tinfoil
gets
hat
me.
guy. Who's the original one with that?
Yeah. The moon one gets me. I just don't understand. Yeah, the moon is an egg, and now it's hollowed out because everybody uses it as a breeding ground for the reptilian race. But there isn't that many that's around. There isn't that many that's around. And what the ones that are around are actually underground, and they switch and swap with everybody that's powerful in the world. It's like, so basically what you're telling me is you're telling me a theory that I can't confirm because it's in the moon. And if I wanted to look for them, I'd have to look underground. And if I wanted to find any of them, I'd have to try and attack the richest people in the world. Great theory, David Icke. Great theory, David Icke. Thanks for this.
Yep. Well, I guess we got a little bit from Rand Paul's speech, but that was cool. And I don't know how long you're going to stay, Mad Dodger. Well, we'll stay how long. I know you got stuff to do and get ready for your show, but thanks for that. And I think the most important thing is that, people need to realize what's important. Their country's spending billions of dollars. It's a hat trick. Like 180 billion in defense, and then 120 or 130 billion in domestic, if I'm not mistaken, Mad Dog. It's like, holy shit, I hear them numbers like, man, is anybody listening to these numbers? That's more money than our GDP. That's more than we got. It's just insane. So thanks for shedding light on it, and I hope that people, start to look at this. You got one side giving you crybaby stories about, dreamers. You can get just as many stories showing dreamers that robbed, raped, pillaged, and everything else. So if you don't want to say they're all bad, well, don't say they're all angels. The one thing that's a fact is, unless you want to say every child that came here, be they Swedish or German, Russian, or Venezuelan, then I guess if they were here for 3 or 4 years and they're used to this culture and they should just be able to stay with their parents too. I don't know. It sounds like bollocks to me. And we should pay attention to that's bullshit. And what Rand Paul's saying, it actually affects every one of us that pay taxes.
It definitely does. I mean, if you have a look at any sort of, and I'm not going to shit on Trump because I actually kind of like him in general, but if you look at his, I don't know, his businesses models, he likes to borrow and run his businesses in debt. I don't think you can do that on a country that's the size of the US. It's got a lot of credit score. You'll end up running the same way as Labour did for us in the UK and paying it back for generations. Especially if it keeps on going off that, yeah, here's 100 billion, just take that, it'll be fine. Yeah, we're going to borrow it from the EU. We're going to borrow it from Soros and the rest of the banks. It will be fine. It'll be fine. Oh, yeah, by the way, for the next 100 generations, we got to pay it back to the banks. And, oh, yeah, we sold our country to them as well now. So it's absolutely fine. So don't worry about it. It's just funny to me on that. When people just look at the, like as you said, the 100 million or the 100 billion and just go, yeah, we can afford that. There's only 360 something million in the US. Yeah, but not all of them pay tax. You just try and work out the maths on that one. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, and I do have to go and finish that speech and take some notes. But as I go, I want to say thank you, Ogre. And really, shutting down the government for a couple hours isn't necessarily a bad thing if some reform comes out of it. The Social Security checks will still go out. The troops will still be paid. Come on. Let's be adults about this. And the fact that they won't read the bill before they pass it, their job is to read the bill. That's their job. Come on.
But
Come
that's
on,
how
America.
laws get.
We could do better.
That's how laws get passed. That's how laws get passed. For instance, like JFK would have said, the reason of not using gold as your pure currency anymore and then using fake currency, that got passed in a bill by Campbell, didn't it?
Oh, I believe you're right, and I am gonna take off. Have a good one, guys. I'll be around in the chat and watching for a little bit before I finish that speech. So later. Thank you, Ogre.
Have a good show tonight. All right, man. I'm glad I just came by, and we don't have to dwell on that, lads. I'm glad we talked about it a little bit. I mean, that's so far into just American politics and American crap that, man, you know.
America, fuck yeah.
Of course, I'm glad to talk about it, but what's happening is right now, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this, and I agree. Not too long ago, it was like, you know, people would get their news 5 days a week tops. There would be a big dip in ratings for all news outlets on the weekend. Nowadays, it really doesn't take much of a dip. This new Trump era of news cycle is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And, you know, it's a bit of a fatigue for me. Man, well, it used to be that, yeah, you could watch Face the Nation or Meet the Press on the weekend or whatever, some PBS dry shit. And the only reason you're watching it is because you're bloody hungover from the debauch you were engaged in the night before. And it's some people talking quietly. You don't even know what the hell they're saying. You got, a couple aspirins in your hand, shaking like a leaf on a tree, just trying to get some water down. And that was it. Now it's just nonstop. Trump said shithole. Some day the Steele dossier is bogus. It's one thing after the other. Boom, 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 boom. Never ends.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not tired of it necessarily, but I'm tired of it.
Well, I can imagine myself like just being a YouTuber. Well, I'm a professional YouTuber, guys. Hi, how you doing? Sorry, that's my profession. Sorry. But no, I do this obviously as much as I can. Sometimes I can't do it all the time. But when you are doing it and you're trying to do a video every day, you're looking at the stories and sometimes you're going through night and day and just looking at stories and you're just thinking, what the fuck are these people actually reporting on? You look at some of the stories, whales might be able to speak. No, you mean that they can mimic the sound that sort of sounds like something that we would say. Sort of. And that's a fucking breakthrough story, apparently. And I just don't understand where all these stories are now coming from. And everybody's like, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. And it's the same from across the pond. It's the same from England. And it's the same from the EU as well. All the stories are basically repetitive stories. Nobody does their own independent journalism anymore. And the only people that seem to do it are the people on YouTube. And they're the people that are in the countries. You have to go to individual countries to look for individual YouTubers that are going to do the stories for that particular country. For instance, Sweden. Until we spoke to Binary Surfer, we had no goddamn clue how bad it was over there. But yet it's still not being reported. But yet we still get stories going, oh, yeah, there was a grenade dropped, but nobody died. It's okay. It's not a terrorist effect. Honestly, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And you just look at those type of stories and you just think, wow, these are just wastes our time. Just tell us the goddamn truth.
Yes. And even if we had a clue, we had corroboration by someone that has inside knowledge. That's better than having a clue, because we can make all kinds of deductions on Orwell. What is it? Orwell and Goody and Orwell, whatever.
Orwell and Good.
Orwell and Good. The lad that was on today was talking about George Soros, and he obviously knew quite a lot about him. He had him in the low bar described as an investigative journalist. He looked relatively young, but I'm not going to say he isn't. He was definitely well informed. But you know what? We can all fall into this trap of either there's nothing going on behind the scenes. Government is government, and if you think anything else, you're bloody crazy. Conspiracy theorists, or the Illuminati did it. You know what I mean? It's like you fall into one of two camps. I think it's best to just keep your eyes open and realize there's stuff going on. But we can't really, George Soros isn't funding the guy said this, and the stream is live. The stream is up, so anybody could find us, and I'm going to try to fact check it. but he said that George Soros, through, I can't remember if he said through David Brock and Media Matters, but to make a long story short, that he had funded to definitely have 2 journalists in every one of the 50 states, so 100 journalists. And he made a good point. He's like, well, that's not that many. He said it is some, it's influence.
It's fuck all. If you got 3 stories in a single state, you can't cover them. That's how that maths would work out. If you got 2 journalists in each state and you had 3 stories to go to, you wouldn't be able to cover it. And more than 3 stories would happen in an individual place in a day.
Right. And that's what I was thinking. That's, in other words, you're with me, is when you look at it that way, they don't have that much influence.
Exactly.
They must stick to some kind of agenda if that's the case. And
the
even so,
going to tell them where to go. The editor of where those journalists are being told where to go, the editor is going to tell them where to go. So if the editor wants to say, well, Trump's just fucked up a little bit, but Hillary's completely and utterly broken her leg, for instance, and that person dislikes Trump, guess what story you're going to get? You're not going to get that Hillary's broken her leg. You're going to get, Trump said some bad words.
Yeah, of course. Of course, sure. Oh, well, I don't know. Is this too big a bummer, Bollocks? Is this just like more politics on a Friday?
No, this is pretty much what I was expected, to be honest. And the people who fund the big news organizations these days, of course, they don't want real news being reported. They don't want proper investigative journalism. They like distraction more than anything else, and attacking of political opponents who could very well mean that they'll lose money and influence, which is why I suppose people like Trump and Farage and now Jacob Rees-Mogg are just continually attacked because of the fact that they are a potential threat to billionaires' pockets. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, get out. You're not a true Tory.
Yes, exactly. Even though he fills pretty much all the tick boxes for a proper conservative, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. You're not a true Scotsman. You don't have a broadsword.
Did you see during the week, Common Sense, the amount of lefties who were accusing Mogg of staging last Friday's incident?
Yeah, I did see a fair number. Luckily enough, the actual mainstream media had some actual common sense on that day and didn't even attempt to run the story, including the Sun and things like that. So I was quite happy with that.
Well, the fact that they actually identified the one in the baseball cap as a far left agitator anyway, so it would have made them look a little bit silly, wouldn't it?
I'm shocked. I'm really shocked.
Yeah, I thought you might be. I mean, it was blatantly. I just could not believe it wasn't a stitch up, because I mean, this wannabe dictator who wants to, seize control of the Tory party and then remove democracy from this country, it was obviously, I thought it would be staged, but obviously they got these far left freedom fighters in at gunpoint, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. They pushed him in, they clumped them all together and told him to be as aggressive as possible. And then they realized that they couldn't control him anymore, and it just got out of hand.
I know. They even specifically asked them not to bathe for at least a month so they would smell authentic.
Possible.
I'm not generalizing, of course.
Yeah. I'm not going to confirm or deny that. This is Magic Bollox' story. I was going to call you Magic Boris. So
Magic Boris. That's even better though, man. That's freaking brilliant, Magic Boris.
Magic Boris. I don't think I can do it. I mean, he's quite a difficult character to get right. You just go to bumbling.
I do like Boris. I can't believe that so many people think that he's an nincompoop, an idiot. It's just like, well, if he's so much of a nincompoop and an idiot, how comes he's foreign secretary? I'm not trying to say he's bought his way. He's a very, very intelligent person. Don't look at the persona and think that he's not. He is a very intelligent person.
I think it's all deliberate, isn't it? Give off the bumbling, lovable rogue, and people are like it. But he's a very calculating individual. He never does anything without there being a motive. Like he backed leave. I think mainly for his own benefit, wasn't it?
Well, no, it wasn't mainly for his own benefit. You have to remember that before, it was a history lesson. Beforehand, he wrote a piece on how he thought that the EU was an extension of Sovietistic Russia and the ideals of a Nazi Germany. He actually wrote that. That was one of his theses in his university years.
That's what the freaking EU is, man.
I agree, but I'm just going through the history lesson quickly.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Well, and also, I don't think you believe Boris is. He's not an idiot.
No. That's the thing that I'm trying to. That's the thing that I'm trying to go through. The fact that he was able to write that, he was able to write all of that. He got it published. He's got a couple of really decent books explaining the differences between how how EU is good and bad in different practices. And he's very, very good at doing stuff like that. And his timing was impeccable when it comes to the Leave vote, to the point where I think he only waited until the last 4 weeks until he started to campaign to be able to reboost everything up.
Yeah, and hey, lads, while we're talking about this, look in the side chat because somebody said something about this, and it's been on my mind too. If y'all want to talk about that next,
I'll talk about anything. Don't bother me. I can't even see the side chat today.
Oh, that's okay.
That thing you just put about the Black Panther film, Mr. Ogre?
Yeah, and we can carry on with this till we're done.
No, far away if you want to talk about that.
Oh, that's it. I mean, we were doing well on what we were talking. I'm just saying that that's something I've been thinking too, because this whole thing is hailed. Anybody ever hear of a movie called Dolomite?
The name rings a bell. I can't place it.
Like, they would call it blaxploitation now, but I mean, you can look at how about Black Belt Jones, or man, I think about there was some with Pam Grier in it too, with like Jackie Brown was a playoff of that kind of thing. Quentin Tarantino's movie Jackie Brown. When they say that the Black Panther, a mythical, made-up nonsense, a place in Africa where the technology is, I can't even say it I can't do it. I'm not even gonna try. Everybody knows the premise because it's a comic book, but you got this technology that surpasses the rest of the world in this one place in Africa. I mean, it's
Wakanda.
Yes. Yeah, it's akin to it's crazy.
I said it first.
Now, now I'll cut you boys loose on this. When I'm thinking about this, they say it's the new, groundbreaking, realistic. No, listen, man, Dolomite was realistic. This bad brother, man, was like humping hookers, man, and come in with cocaine dealers and whoop their ass and take their stash. It was like the enforcer on the block.
Same as Shaq. Same as Shaq.
Yeah, like Shaft. Well, this was now Shaft would be a much lighter version of what I'm talking about. Dolomite would be that's a hardcore blaxploitation, but that is realistic now, folks. Now, is every brother in the ghetto this Dolomite character? No, in fact, probably none of them are quite that, but it's a lot closer than someplace in darkest Africa with some amazing technology now, isn't it?
Yep.
And it's also happened too. So I don't know what y'all think about that. I think that in my heart, this whole thing that they're doing is taking away decades of Black culture that I know and love and know people in it and have been a part of it in my own way for my whole life. And it's like, man, don't take away from that. Black people are their own, in this country especially, are their own culture. They don't need this fantasy. If they want fantasy, they can go to I'm trying to think of the Last Dragon. I don't know if y'all seen that. Who's the Shogun of Harlem? Anyway, I mean, there is plenty of that stuff already.
Yeah, I mean, with this actual film in itself, for me, it's a case that, okay, yeah, fair enough, most of the cast are Black. I get it. I understand it. It's one of the first things that has ever happened. I do understand that. But at the same time, you have to realize, well, Bollywood in itself is completely for Asians. So does that mean that that's a good thing or a bad thing? Or wouldn't it be better to diversify and then actually be able to make proper movies so everybody can watch rather than a specific group?
And don't they get lots more people watching the Bollywood movies than ours because of so many people in India and whatnot?
There's so many people in India that watch it because they can't watch anything else. You have to remember with VCRs and DVD players and things like that, they have a region setting on it. So if you're in India and you buy something from the UK, you can't watch it. If you buy something from the US and you're in India, you can't watch it.
Right.
So it's a case of sometimes having the regional point of it. But my point was, or my premise was rather, that it's a case that it doesn't really matter on the Bollywood side, or if you have all black people, or if you have an African wood or whatever. It's a case of the reason why Hollywood is so successful and is able to translate all over the world is the fact that it has diverse characters. Not the fact that you're forcing diversity, and by diversity we're using the left terminology, which means less white people and not a diverse group of people.
Yep, you basically mean the Marxist version of diversity.
Oh, I don't want to be called outright anymore because everybody keeps on calling me right leaning now. So I'm going to stay away from that type of thinking.
No, you're not right. You are like me, Common Sense. You're anti-Marxist. That's all.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically this movie, yeah, fair enough, it's great, but it's not. Well, I don't actually know. I haven't seen it yet. But fair enough, this movie is quite a decent little thing. But don't put to shame things like Blade and a couple of others that have come out before it and black superheroes. For fuck's sake, Spawn, one of the most badass fucking movies I've ever watched. Black guy is the main character.
Wesley Snipes and Blade. I think you just said that. But here's Dudley. Here's Rudy Ray Moore. This is the cover to Dolomite, with his all-girl army of kung fu killers, bone-crushing, skull-splitting, brain-blasting action. And this is just, I mean, and there was no, the only white people in here were white girls getting boned by some black dudes. And I don't mean like X-rated. I mean, it was just, they call it blaxploitation, as I said. And there was some white dudes, maybe, if they were either some badass bikers or they were getting beat up. They were like ended up being in a whorehouse the wrong time, and Dolomite kicked their ass, or some black chicks kicked their ass. In one scene, a white dude gets his ass kicked by some black chicks. It's good. It's just a funny, good movie. Anyway. But,
well, forgive my ignorance, boys, but I haven't really been following this thing about Black Panther. Am I to assume that it's been pushed as like this wonderful film for liberating blacks, and they finally like the big star in a film or some of this crap?
Yes, like it's never ever happened. I'm looking Disco Godfather.
It's not just the big star. It's not just the big star. It's the fact that most of the cast that you see is black.
But look, Chris. Common sense. Look what, and I'll let you speak because I've said a lot, but very quickly, gentlemen. Common sense. Look at how they're saying that, but look at there's so many movies. So are they saying that all these movies, The Human Tornado, Purdy Wheat Straw, Disco Godfather, all of these don't count? Black
all of these
Dynamite?
Do not count. All of these, I love that. Black Dynamite.
Yep, they don't count because they don't give a shit.
They don't, mate. They don't give a shit because it's in the past.
Yeah.
They weren't alive when they weren't alive when it was brought to their attention. They don't give a shit because that just breaks their fucking narrative. And now they've got just something that's, it's happening now. We're breaking white supremacy. Remember with Super Bowl, the fucking whitest team beat the Patriots. And because they're called the Patriots, the other team, which I can't remember the name, which is the whitest team in the goddamn US field.
The one that just won
the Super Bowl. Yeah, won the Super Bowl. And they're saying that that team apparently is beating white supremacy, even though that team is the whitest team.
Oh, good Lord. And they'll probably come around to it, and it'll end up switching, and they'll say it's because of white. But see, there's Pam Grier, as I mentioned her earlier before I even looked at some. Let's look at Superfly. That was all black. Shaft, you mentioned
Superfly,
that.
That was great. I love Superfly.
Yeah,
and you're British, Common Sense, and you mentioned Shaft. And then they got the audacity to say, and there I mentioned Black Belt Jones, Coffee, Foxy Brown with Pam Grier. Remember that?
I remember Foxy Brown.
Sweetback. I mean, come on, it goes on and on and on. So they're just telling us from Bucktown to Sweetback to Foxy Brown, Black Belt Jones, Superfly, Shaft. None of these movies count for nothing. these were all, I guess, what were they? Just pandering to white folk? What are they? I don't even understand.
They don't even exist, mate. You can't find them. The
even
same
exist.
thing as like Django Unchained. The same thing as something like that, Django Unchained, which is only what,
That's modern.
4 years ago at max? Exactly,
Right.
4 years ago at max. That doesn't count, even though most of that cast was black. And it was a liberation of slavery, and the fact that the person who was owning the slaves basically got taught a fucking lesson.
Well,
But yeah,
I'm
apparently
sorry.
that's not good enough for him.
if you want a good film about a black man overcoming adversity, just watch Blazing Saddles.
Oh dear. Oh, dear.
Hey, look, this was called Boss Nigger from 1974. I'm not even kidding. N-I-G-G.
Yes, I wasn't alive, so I don't care. It doesn't count.
Yeah. If you are a full-blown snowflake, the world didn't exist before your birth.
Exactly.
Right, fantasy.
It's all propaganda.
Can you imagine that, gentlemen, right now? Can you imagine this movie right here?
No, because it would be spelt with an A.
Yeah, Naga.
Naga. Yeah. Or even
White
Wigger.
man's town, black man's law, part devil, part legend, all man. Fred Williamson as Boss Nigger. Man, that's
I like Magic Bollox' title better, Boss Wigger. I like
Boss.
that one better.
You could have that nowadays, actually.
Well, yeah, you could go for that. I'm sure that's just
Boss
unreal.
Cracker.
I've never seen that the boss one there.
Boss Quicker, the man who fucking came too fast.
I did say cracker. I did say cracker.
Oh, fair enough.
Look, there ain't a cracker in this lineup, man. There's not one in the whole freaking lineup.
Well, that's
Pam
the thing,
Grier,
mate.
though.
You've gone into history, and because the history was beneficial to the black person at this point in time, it doesn't count. It didn't exist.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not arguing with you, Common Sense. I'm just saying, I'm just with you saying we're reminding people that they're trying to tell you that.
Oh, don't tell me about reminding people. We've got the 100 years fucking suffragettes at this moment in time. The fact that they were able to use fucking Molotov cocktails to throw into members of parliament to be able to get suffrage, and then it was only partial suffrage. Then 2 years later, men got suffrage, and then in 1928, everybody got suffrage. But apparently, feminism was able to win the fucking day on that one.
Yeah, even though the
Women got it
suffragettes
before men did, you said.
Sorry,
Well,
sorry, mate.
You said women got it before men did. So in other words, women could vote before like a man without property could vote.
Okay, let me just set the premise. Basically, what happened beforehand was men from the age of 30 upwards that owned property were able to vote. In 1918, women over the age of 30 that owned property, not husbands that owned property, but them themselves that owned property, were able to vote. 2 years after that, after everybody come back from the war, they then said, well, how comes women are allowed to vote and we're not for the common man? So then it was a case of everybody over the age of 21 that was a man was allowed to vote whether it had property rights or not.
Universal suffrage.
No, not just yet.
Oh.
1928 was universal suffrage for men and women. In our country, anyway.
yeah. And the original suffragettes weren't interested in getting the vote for the ordinary women. They just wanted it for the landed gentry women.
Yes, the ones that own property.
That's right. And that's the thing, they never talk about that. They make it sound like they're all one for the sisterhood. They didn't give a shit about the working class.
Exactly. And the whole thing about universal suffrage took over 96 years. First started off in 1938, and as I said, 36. Sorry, and 1836 was when everything started for suffrage, for everybody to start fighting for a vote and everything. And then you had the war that broke everything up. And then in 1928 is when universal suffrage happened. So 96 years.
Huh.
96 years
Wow.
it took for universal suffrage to happen.
Yeah, and I don't think everybody. So it's what it is voting is a suggestion box of slaves.
Well, that was the reason why they were so happy for the men and the women to get universal suffrage, because they had more people paying tax. Because if you had the vote, you pay tax.
Yeah,
So that's one thing that obviously goes straight into it as well. But if you have the vote, that means you have to work as well. So more people were able to work and get a chance to own the land and things like that. And the rich got richer and the poor got richer. Everybody was winning at that point.
Yeah, that's not what bothers me is that I've seen it. I've never been in a discussion with anybody that would absolutely stick to this, but I've seen it on the internet several times where some people would say that it would be better, okay, if you had the rich here and the poor here, or you could have the rich here and the poor here. In other words, the poor would be poorer, but the rich would be closer to that they will stick to that would be better. Then going higher, if you have the disparity, the gap between the poor and the rich, that's all that matters to them. They don't care if you say, okay, there's only 100 billionaires, which I think is what there is in the United States, but the poor people are fat and overweight. That's the way it is in our country.
Yeah, they also own a car. They also own TVs.
Yes.
They obviously own their own things and can get food and whatever.
Yes,
But
yes.
the thing that people always forget about economics is that if you have a lower class and a higher class, the higher class produce the goods. If the poor cannot buy those goods, then the rich become poorer, which means the economy tanks. For an economy to work, you need to have lower class, middle class, and higher class. Because
Yes.
if you have the middle class buys everything, then when they're finished with that, they sell it off at a lower rate, which means everybody gets recycled goods. It just makes things work.
Yeah, and that's why old Henry Ford I was smart enough to understand that if he paid his workers enough that they could actually buy his product, his company would thrive.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
What a nice guy.
Probably half the reason he was such the anti-Semite that he was.
Well, he proved that the Jews were wrong, didn't he?
He certainly did. Apparently, when Hitler was in prison, he only read 2 books, and one of them was Henry Ford's.
Nice. Well, and he doesn't have to be an anti-Semite just because I think all of the German tanks, I can't remember that. A lot of their chassis were Ford. That doesn't make it, I mean, any more than Coca-Cola, Fanta is Coca-Cola. I mean, are they anti-Semitic just because they wanted to make money during the war?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Henry Ford, when he was selling metals to Germany to be able to let them be able to buy and make their own tanks and things like that, wasn't he selling them really low grade metals anyway? So he wasn't.
Yes, I think he was. Yeah.
I really don't know much about that. I just know that he gets bashed a lot. And yeah, I mean, to me, Dow Chemical, they should be, and that goes to the heart of the Bushes with Prescott Bush and his father. They were selling a lubricant to the Germans that their Messerschmitts, their planes, when the ME 109 wouldn't fly without this. So to me, there is a level too. And let's remember that Ford didn't do any dealings with him during the war. He had plants there, was selling him as they were ramping up. Once we declared war, he quit his dealings. And by that time, Hitler just had people in those plants and kept them going. That was no longer, that we know of, it was no longer Ford getting any kind of money or any deal with it.
Well, if we're going to moan at people like Ford, then we need to start moaning at people that are Hugo Boss, Cien Dior. We need to start moaning at them. We also need to start moaning at BMW, Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't have been where they are now if the Nazis didn't use them. So if we're blaming Ford, we need to blame them as well.
And let's remember that, in business, people do what they have to do to make business go. That's the way it is.
Exactly. At the end of the day, both governments are selling to Saudi Arabia. So it's like, does that mean that our governments are really bad? Yeah, kind of. It makes them actually hypocrites. But at the end of the day, what can you do? Can't really do too much.
Laugh about it. Ballers can mock them, and we can laugh.
We can try.
I prefer to cry, to be honest, because of the fact that ever since they've been sucking on the Saudi cock, is that I don't think it's a coincidence that the hate speech laws were brought in to make sure that the ordinary public could not complain about what one of the biggest purchasers of UK military equipment wanted to have in return for money and favors.
Oh yeah.
It's very interesting that the fact that a lot of these people are now, well, actually, more interesting point. Saudi Arabia have got at this moment in time, or is it Abu Dhabi? One of them have got an absolutely massive camp where they're able to take refugees in. Absolutely massive. I think it can take over 1 million people, but don't quote me. I think it's between 500,000 and 1 million people that it could take easy. And it's not being used. Not at all. There's nobody in it. And that's not an exaggeration on my part. There is nobody in it.
No,
Because
it's
they don't
probably
want
their
to go
version
there.
of a FEMA camp, man. They're just waiting to, in case their people get out of hand.
No, it's because it's not a fucking migration. It's an invasion. Why
Yeah,
are they
I know,
sending
yeah.
them?
Right. So, but they're not going to take in, because in fact, if I'm not mistaken, to be a refugee, that can only be from one country to the country that borders it during a time of war, and you are going seeking asylum. You go in there saying, "Please help me. I don't want to be killed, and there's too much war in my country." You would be a refugee. If you go beyond that, you're an asylum seeker, possibly. I've
No,
heard
that still
some
comes
people
under the
calling
same
them
thing.
what do they
Still comes
call
under
them?
the same thing.
Pardon me?
Asylum seekers and refugees technically come over the same thing. They're technically under the same principle.
Well, but to be a refugee, again, you have to go to only the country bordering country you're in. I think it was you that I heard say this phrase, common sense. It's not coming to me. It's not financial, but economic migrant.
Yeah, economic migrants, meaning that they want to escape from their country to be able to get to another.
Yeah, no, that's the case in a lot of these situations. But look, man, I see this person.
Some of them are economical migrants. They're coming from places like Africa, going through Greece, going through Germany, going through other places that have decent economies, decent jobs, and things like that. But yet they don't have a decent welfare system, bar Germany, which is the country I shouldn't have mentioned. But they're going through those type of countries to get to welfare states. They're not going to those countries to actually work. So they're not economical migrants. They're just migrants.
Well, so Bollox, how much of your check, what portion of your check would you like to see go to housing economic migrants and or asylum seekers and or refugees, knowing as you do that there are somewhere upwards of 25 or 30,000 British people, your countrymen, that are sleeping rough? What part of your paycheck a week, sir, or a month or by week, however you get paid, what portion, what percentage of your check do you think should be allocated for those folks? Bollox, he muted himself right as I was saying. Asking.
Sorry about that, Mr. Ogre. The reason why I muted myself, I just need Mrs. Bollox to bring me a letter I had the other day, because it's funny you bringing this up. Once a year, I get a letter from our wonderful Her Majesty's Majesty's Revenue and Customs telling me how the tax I paid in the last year has been spent.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And it just seems to be a way of rubbing it in, of saying, look how much we've taken off of you and how much we're pissing it up the fucking wall. And they show you a nice little pie chart on the back, showing the percentage of what it's actually going to. And if she hurry up and gets her ass up here, I can tell you what it is. But the biggest one of all, funnily enough, is welfare. It's like something, I forget how much it is. It's like something about 30 or 40%. Hang on, here we go. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bollox. You're a lovely lady.
She can't hear you, and I would deny you said that anyway. Now, let's have a look. Here we go. Oh, it doesn't actually say the percentage, but here you go. Right. How your tax contributed to public spending, your contribution. Welfare. Now, take into mind, this is over 12 months, okay? Welfare, £1,200. Health, £1,000. State pensions, 636. Education, 607. National debt interest, 272. Defense, 257. Public order and safety, 207. Transport, 207. Business and industry, 123. Government administration, 104. Culture, e.g. sports, libraries, museums, and feminism, probably, 79.
Definitely feminism.
Yeah. Environment, 79. Housing and utilities, including street lights, 74.
Fuck off, I don't even get my street lights at work after 12.
Mate, I'm paying for it, so I better complain I'm not getting value for money. Overseas aid, £54. And UK contributions to the EU budget, £35. Total £4,938.
That's what you paid in a year right there?
That's what I pay in income tax and national insurance contributions.
And the
It's
highest one by
almost-
far is fucking welfare.
Welfare, 1,200 quid.
That's,
And how much of that
that's
welfare, I
double
wonder, is
education.
actually going to people who were not born in this country and have lived
Yep.
here for a very short time?
That's double immigration, double education, isn't it? 600 for education, wasn't it?
Yeah, 607 for education. So yeah, you're right. It is double.
That's scary. We pay more on welfare state than we do on education.
Surely they should put a slash next to that and put indoctrination.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not why I was going with it.
No. I just thought I'd throw that in for the sake of being a
That's why
bastard.
you're the jester. That's why you're the jester.
But I was very interested to see that our national debt has actually gone up from last year, because I can remember what it was. It was about 192. It was now 272.
Yeah, that's because people always forget, not saying yourself, but people always forget that what we're doing at the minute is paying off the deficit, and the deficit is not the debt.
Exactly.
The deficit is the interest on the debt.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
people
right.
forget that.
Yep.
I love having that argument with leftists. Oh, yeah, our debt's going up. Our national debt has been the highest it's ever been. The Conservatives have done nothing. No, it's because they've paid off the deficit.
Yes,
What?
the
What do you
deficit.
mean? It's the same thing.
Yes, it's now 5% of GDP rather than, was it 12 or 15% under
Exactly.
Gordon Brown when he finally got thrown out.
Yep.
Yep.
I absolutely love that when I start talking to leftists about that. Yeah, you haven't been paid. The deficit's not been paid. It's like, yeah, the deficit has, but yeah, but the debt's gone up. So how can it have been paid? It's like, because think of it as a loan. You have to pay off the interest before you can pay the loan.
Do you try and explain to them the reason it keeps going up is because they have to keep borrowing more because they're not taking in enough tax to cover the outgoings, mainly due to the expansion of welfare because of all the fucking foreigners we keep bringing in.
Yeah, but that's the Conservatives' fault as well on that one. And they
That is very much their fault. Yeah.
I appreciate that information too, but Boggs, you didn't really answer my question. So you've told us now what percentage, and it sounds like somewhere over a quarter of your tax dollars go to that. So how much are you comfortable with being allocated from your personal earnings for that, seeing as how many of your countrymen are sleeping rough every night?
Personally, Mr. Ogre, I despise income tax and would scrap it if I had my way. And I would simply have people taxed on the stuff they actually buy at a higher rate, because that way people who currently avoid any form of income tax by either cash in hand or any other means, they can't avoid it.
Yes. Point of sale tax, sales tax.
I don't understand. You can't have.
We've got that. That's called VAT.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't have both, though, taxing your income and taxing the stuff you buy. You either have one or the other.
Yeah. The only thing that I would say on this is, obviously, Ogre's made a comparison of saying, oh, well, if you don't pay for the welfare, then people are going to be homeless. It's more of a case of, yeah, fair enough. That's a good point. But people that are homeless are generally left on their own, the same as it is in your country as well. They're normally not helped. So the welfare doesn't get spent on the homeless at all. It's always on people finding new homes. And generally, if you're a refugee, you actually tend to, well, an economical migrant or a migrant, you generally actually get homes and everything straight away, even though you can't speak the language, even though that you can't actually do any work in this country because you can't speak a language or got any qualifications, you still get a house.
And that was more my point, Common Sense. That was my point, was that's why I made it clear. I was trying to make it clear that as your countrymen sleep rough, you spend all this money. And I mean, I've been seeing some horror stories. I don't know how, I know they're anecdotal, but I don't know what percentage of truth there is. But hearing from what you boys are saying now is that, yes, they're given the preference to folks that, and look, why is someone evil or racist if they say the people that were born here? I don't care if, I mean, in your case, they can't say much to you all. You've been on that island, I think, forever. So you've got that going. But here it's like, okay, we stole it from the Indians or something, and when do we go beyond that and say, okay, now it's here and now, and you're not necessarily racist because you believe that you should help your fellow man. And okay, I guess if you're, I don't even know what to say. It should help your countrymen if it's going to come out of your check at all.
Well,
I would
it's funny
venture
that
to
you
say
say that.
that
I know that you've just roboted, so I'm trying to fill something for you at the minute because you're not really saying anything. But at this moment in time, I think it's very funny because our country at this moment in time is having an internal debate, or most of it is anyway, where we're trying to decide whether or not we should try to spend some of our foreign aid budget to either help the NHS or help the housing crisis. Personally, I think we should help the NHS before we help the housing crisis, but that's my opinion. It could be used for both. But the fact is that the Conservatives will not even attempt to look at the idea of touching the foreign aid budget. And as for Labour, they say they would do, but fuck me, would they? They wouldn't touch the foreign aid budget at all because they want to virtue signal to the rest of the world. So that they wouldn't touch it either. So I think that it would be a very good idea to actually tap into the foreign aid budget to help ourselves. Because at the end of the time, it's supposed to be a humanitarian effort. And guess what? We all need help.
Ain't that ever the truth?
I think Ogre might have actually gone. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, no, he's back.
That's fine.
I wanted to fix that. I had a bunch of stuff going on, and sometimes, man, I don't know what it is.
Shit.
I really wish that in the old days they would give you a disk for the operating system for your computer. I'm ready to just go out and buy Windows 7 and then put the disk in this computer. It's running 10 now, and it's a big badass machine. But I don't want 10, and I don't like it. 7 I thought was a little much. I liked XP, but with 7 I'll be able to use everything that I have now that I enjoy using. I'll be able to use then also, and it's like half the power and space and everything else. And I like being able to just take everything that I want, putting it on a flash drive. They make 100 gig flash drives now and whatever, and then just popping a disk in, and when it says, "Are you sure?" you just push yes, I'm sure. I hold on to nothing on here, and it can all go away and start fresh and new, a fresh, clean slate. Why don't they let us do that anymore? I don't know. It's off topic, and I don't. It's not important.
You know the reasons why, mate? Because Microsoft put all of the spying equipment in there. If you ever put Microsoft in and you then load up McAfee, for instance, as a separate spyware, or something that's completely different to McAfee that's not got any things with Microsoft, they will attack each other. Your computer will not work because it will keep McAfee will keep on saying that there is problems with your computer.
Well, supposedly, somebody was saying that Kaspersky's supposed to be some kind of Russian spy bot because, of course, that's where it's based. But if it is, that's fine. That means my computer is what's called a bot for a spy, and I'm fine because I haven't done anything yet.
So you're actually a bot then. So your computer is actually a bot when they say, "Oh,
well, I hope so."
We've met a bot.
Well, if I am, I'm very impressed with how they've made me because I'm totally convinced I'm real. All hail Putin.
You sure you're not a clone?
No, definitely not. Well, not yet, anyway.
We worked with a robot, the Britisher, 1969 model MI6, super liberal bot.
We do actually have Coach Red Pill's clone in Discord.
That's
he's called Coach Blackpill.
Coach Blackpill, I noticed that. Haven't you ever been listening to the Britisher Bollox and asked yourself, what bloody accent is that? Where is he from in my island? Haven't you? You've never asked yourself that?
No, I know where I think he's from because he sounds exactly like William Hague. And in fact, I'm glad somebody else finally spotted that and made a comment, and he responded to it. Whenever I asked him,
I can at least say warm or cold. I can't really tell you where, but where do you think? What part of the country? North, south, east, west?
Why don't we just skip over this bit and carry on?
Oh, okay. Because I don't think he'd be even close. I don't know where William Hague's from. I can find out.
William Hague's from some part of Yorkshire. He's got a really sort of nasty, boring voice, as William Hague.
No, I think I know where Yorkshire is. You're not even nearly Warren.
He probably
That's
isn't,
what
but
I'm anyway.
he just
No,
has
but
that.
Common Sense, you guys, right? It could appear bad to like play hot and cold with somebody's identity. That might not. That might have the appearance of evil, and we'll avoid that today.
Yeah.
Good call. It was my idea. I come up with the worst of ideas. It's my job.
Not always. Not always. You don't come up with the worst odd ideas always. It's just sometimes.
To be honest, Mr. Asking me where I think somebody comes from isn't really insulting. It's just I was given an opinion. That's all. So don't worry.
Oh, no,
In the
but I
same
was-
way that some people, it's in case
No.
some people occasionally think that I'm from Wales, for example, and it doesn't
You are
bother
from
me.
Wales.
And the thing of it is take Coach Black Pill, for example. Yeah, so he's been on Russian TV and all this stuff. I still don't dig what Doc's Holiday did. I don't like it. I think it's
Doc's Holiday.
Yeah, I don't think it's cool because he's out there like, and then they try to make it like it's no big deal, but he don't want that done to him. Or I've lost my memory holiday. Either one of them they don't want that. And I mean, I don't either. Who does? It's just a shitty thing. I think a lot of us, me for sure, I'm gonna speak for myself here. I enjoy this because it's a bit of a disconnected fantasy world where I am not the human being that I actually am. I enjoy that. And so that I think goes for a lot of us. And those of us like that, I definitely say that goes for Nachi Free. Look at the dude. He wears a wrestling mask. For those of us that it goes that way for, man, don't try to drag our real life into it. Even if you know who we are and it's already out online, it's still a dick move. That's my opinion on that. I like Coach Red Pill too, man. I do. If RPR had the nerve, he's picked a fight with him, but apparently he punked out the other night, boys.
Who? What?
RPR, he was right here with him. He's like, I hate him. But then he was here with him, and I don't know if he thought we'd stop him. He'd already been on the show. He was broke in. It was on Bollock's channel. RPR come on, and Coach Red Pill came in on like the middle. That's right. You weren't there, Common Sense.
No, I wasn't up for that one.
And,
yeah, it was very, very odd the way he just turned up like that. But fair enough. If somebody wants to gate crash, they're always more than welcome.
Oh, he was cool about it too. But the thing of it is what happened to RPR? Is he still in the chat? What happened?
He is. He's there.
What happened to you, bro? I mean, and he didn't do nothing. It was just like womp womp ba-dom, boom. Yeah. Well, and that said, I like to remember some of the best advice anyone has ever given another human being. Never judge a book by its cover.
Exactly.
Get it from the horse's mouth. There's another good one. Go to the source. Don't take everybody's opinion. From what I've seen so far, I mean, I continue to like Coach Red Pill, and the guy's fucking crazy. I mean, some of the stuff he says, I've really got to listen to 3 or 4 times and go, huh? It's almost Tariq Hamid Abibadishad.
When he starts talking about his financial ideas, yeah, it's I kind of think, where the fuck are you going with this? But most of his general points, they're not too bad. It's just when he talks about his financial points. But at the end of the day, Coach Red Pill's not here, so maybe not best ideas.
Sometimes his ideas on females maybe he's on some things. Some things he's definitely on, and it's just because they're true and it upsets people. Some of the things I wonder, I just scratch my head and I think to myself, did he just throw that cherry on top there? Really, just kind of a troll?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can I ask you, Mr. Ogre, because you were talking to him on Wednesday about it, and I'm afraid I haven't seen any of those videos, so I didn't quite understand. He's done a video, obviously, was it about dating? Was it or?
Oh, the one Mrs. Ogre he was joking about was like he was saying that in our modern age, women have evolved. This secondhand, I haven't seen the video. Women have evolved to need to have a protector. And in our modern age, because there's very little opportunity to show that you protect a woman, the best way to do it is to just fuck the hell out of her, like hold her face down, almost borderline abuse her by holding her face down in the pillows and smothering her and shit, just doggy fucking her, just grudge fucking her. I think is the technical term, so I don't have to keep trying to think of creative ways to describe rough sex. That's an even better way to say it. And then in doing that, engaging in rough sex, that is a substitute for a guy that'll, you know, fight the dinosaur, hunt the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and kill the saber-toothed tiger, and, you know, bring back the steaks and whatnot.
Again.
And I mean, maybe he was just being straight up honest. I thought he was going a little far with it. Maybe.
That does sound suspiciously like trolling, doesn't it?
It does, but then you have a look at some of the other videos that he's done as well, which is the bit of premise that I've had as well with him before, which was, I'm going to not date anybody over the age of 27. And then halfway through the video, no, I'm not going to date anybody over the age of 27. I'm going to change it to, I'm not going to date anybody over the age of 25 through the video.
Yeah, that's groovy. I'm really stoked about this Orwell and Goody.
Good.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. He seems to be probably one of the up there on the top of the most interesting people that'll be around our little group here.
He's a very interesting person.
Huh?
Very interesting. He's a very, very interesting person.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very looking forward to meeting him.
Have you had a chance to speak with him like this, or has it only been text so far for you?
It's only been in DMs. He was kind enough to have a look at my what was it? My Renew Britain video. He had a look at it and he checked the sources on it, and he retweeted it for me. So yeah, he's very, very good.
I got kind of hooked on his stuff since you mentioned him. I think just yesterday I've watched a few of his archives, and then the last 2 streams he did. As I said, I had to go back and catch the beginning of the first one he did yesterday, and then come with it. But he is, I would say, so far the best. He's so good at just letting somebody do their thing. He doesn't cut in. He's a really good host, very good host, and he's got some interesting. He gets interesting people, man. He's good. I'm enjoying his channel.
Yeah, he's definitely very, very good. I really like him. If you ever look at his picture on Twitter, it is it's kind of like a fox, but it's not a fox. Is it a border collie? No, it's not.
Looks like a dog.
It is a dog, but I'm trying to think of the actual name of the dog, and I can't. Is
like
it a
maybe a border collie, but it looks more like to me almost like a husky.
No, it's a small fucker.
Is it a small fucker?
I think it's a corgi. I think it's a
corgi. That could definitely be a Yorkshire Terrier. Yes. Hey, that was something I was looking at too, boys. We're kind of rambling too, and bear with us this Friday. Why don't we just ramble, boys? I could pull up these news stories, but Common Sense, we didn't know that you were going to be here today. Kind of got some stuff up. Well, I got some stuff up halfway through, and I didn't even look at any of the stories I pulled up, except for one where they're kind of trying to say that it's racist or sexist. I mean, because the majority of the winners at the Westminster Dog Show are males. Like the
dogs?
The dogs, yes.
Oh dear! Oh, so SJW is actually spread now to
not even kidding
canines.
How can you make that up? Let me look it up.
An onion story. You would honestly think that was an onion story, wouldn't you?
Well, and let me tell you, I got it off a Drudge, so it hasn't been fully confirmed. Sometimes anybody sometimes can promote a story that later on, if you find out that it just wasn't the Onion that put it out, it is a bogus story. Let's remember the Godfather, Dami Ipso. Y'all remember who he was?
Yeah.
Do you? He got on. Tucker's the one that busted him because he said that he was paying people to protest. It was a big thing about a year or so ago, and Tucker's the one that called him out on air. He'd already been on.
Oh fuck me! Yeah, I remember him. The fucking bloke that had. Oh yeah, we get paid by this agency. We get paid by that agency. It's
yes.
Like, no, you don't. You don't get paid by any.
Yes, he blow him out, and like I say, he was already on. I think 4 major outlets.
Fox was the only one to have a look at his actual fucking credentials, and even were able to work out that his name was fucking a lie.
Yeah, because he said, look, take out a credit card or an ID or whatever and cover everything up with your finger, and then hold it up where it's just your picture with the name in your name, and he was, and the guy, he really didn't anyway. That is the ultimate godfather of trolls to me. So I try to keep that in mind when I see stories like this, because the thing of it is who would be? Are they saying that the judges just see a dangling, meat and veg on this dog? And it's like, okay, it's got to win because it's a male.
Well,
Let me
male supremacy is raising so much that as soon as we realize that an animal has a meat and two veg, we then think and then we compromise and thinking that man should be better than that woman. So we're going to give that man a prize. Fuck, it's a dog. Yeah, it'll do. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
I can't even. Oh, I thought I might have sent this to you.
I have nothing. I have absolutely
no.
nothing.
I think I sent it out in general on the channel to Bollox on Discord. Oh, it's Quinn runs this thing. I posted a bunch of crap. I know you don't do Discord. That's good. You gotta do what you gotta do. But
I gotta do my Twitter shit. I gotta do my fucking videos.
Yeah,
it's all right for people that just live stream Ogre.
It ends up being a lot of stuff. Yes. I'm trying to go to Gab, man, and I just
to be honest, Common Sense, you ain't missing much, especially filth and smut, mate. You'd be wanting to clean your eyes with a Brillo pad.
Oh my lord!
Oh, does that mean I'd get my right hand working?
Fuck me, mate. You'll definitely get your stomach working in the wrong direction.
Okay.
If you find one that works that way, you better not keep looking because it'll ruin it.
Damn! I just doxed my right hand. Shit.
Yeah. Man, where the hell is that? I know I thought, oh, it might be in here. I'll find a damn story. But anyway, it is something that I think is true. At least it's a real story that they're saying it's sexist, that the damn dogs and Westminster Dog Show are 2-to-1 males.
It would have to be fucking United Kingdom, wouldn't it? Again.
Yeah, I'll find that one. But did you see this one, Bollocks? I'll get y'all talking about this while I find that one. This is pretty good. I can screen share it, even though I had to take XSplit down. Apparently, 100 people die in Germany each year due to risky sex practices. And you think, oh, they're humping, but apparently it's solo sex practices a lot of the time.
It's the old 60 wank again, isn't it?
I don't, yeah, but it says across the blunders public, whatever that is, 80 to 100 people accidentally die each year due to risky masturbation practices, where a lack of oxygen. So yeah, is that what you're talking about, Bollocks? It's
amyl nitrate laced.
Getting hanged.
Yeah, you get amyl nitrate laced orange in your gob. So there's that Tory MP who died doing it. He was wearing
what did you just say?
amyl nitrate laced orange in your mouth, stockings, and then you basically hang yourself, wank yourself off until you to the brink of dying. And supposedly the sensation is amazing. The only trouble is, of course, there is a slight risk that you will die.
Or brain damage.
You know what this made me think of, lads? The first thing that came to mind as I turn this over to you experts on this kind of debauchery that I don't even understand, was Crown T. How he isn't he German? Wasn't he German? And he was talking, and then Medicare actually did on a video where he made a post talking about how he liked to put nipple clamps on and shock himself while he took a dildo up the rear and pulled one off for Mother Germany, for the Rhineland. And so I thought to myself, wow, is it just so? This is the question that I have as we ponder this article here from the local. And this is not the Onion. This is supposedly real. Are German people just sexually depraved group of I've heard that they have regular porn on their broadcast air, like regular old porn, and I don't think that happens in England. You don't turn on channel 5 or channel 4 and they're like flat out.
There used to be terrestrial channels after a particular time that used to do that, but Germany in itself is a lot more a liberalized point, to the point where a lot of porn used to come through Germany anyway. So it's same as the Czech Republic and the same as Amsterdam, Holland as well. Obviously, the same country, just a town. But it's the case that with Germany, I don't think it's a case that they're sexually deprived or anything else like that. I think it's the fact that they got to the fad at a really late stage. Because if I remember, it was about 3-4 years ago that this fad was going around the United Kingdom and Europe in general. Though you might have to help me on that one, Magic. I'm not 100% sure on that.
What was that, mate?
The fad in itself for asphyxiation wanking, I think that was about four years ago when it was going around Europe.
Man, that's been a thing around in the States for decades, but I guess it really boomed in the 2010-ish.
Yeah, don't forget that's what Michael Hutchins died of, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a lot of people.
The old asphyxie wank.
Yeah, a lot of people. It's called erotic asphyxiation. There's a good test to see if you've had more than 3 or 4 pints. Make them say erotic asphyxiation without laughing or being a dipshit like I just did. I think it's impossible.
I just had to say something to Lothar, which I feel that can't be said in the chat.
You better tell him.
The only people that actually pissed on people are the Russians, and they piss on Trump, not the Germans.
Yeah, take that, you wank. And I did find this. So the consensus, though, boys, before I move on to this is freaking bloody hilarious. I gotta know what Magic Bollocks thinks about this. As much as I care what you think about politics, common sense, I care what Bollocks thinks about this next story. But so, are German people more sexually deviant than your average Brit? Are they more, more likely to put on the old leather, weird stuff and do the old, something crazy?
I think you'll find if you look at all the weird, shitty porn you can find on the internet, a vast majority of it will have German accents on it. And don't forget, they also have one of the weirdest red light districts of all, the old Reaper Bar.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, I've never been there myself. I have work colleagues who have worked out there.
Your friend has been there, right? Not you. Your friend.
And they brought me back some fantastic photographs that because when they've been out traveling, I always tell them to bring me back some weird shit. And it is surprisingly open over there. You've got like residential houses, and then you've just got all the whore houses just literally a few feet away. You might even have a school that's like, just a couple of doors down. So you'll have the kids going to school at 9 o'clock, and then a load of people going in for to fuck a prosy at the same time. And
my uncle went with a couple of my cousins. They took their his grandchildren, and they were shocked because of the porn that comes over the TV. You can just be flipping through the channels with the youngins there, and next thing it's like, because it's full on. It's the old in out. It's not like Skinamax porn, as we would call it here in the United States.
Silver screen.
Yes, it's not that. It's the old money shots, and then just the blatant way they used advertising, and that's why I'm asking that. It seems like German people, and they don't have a sense of humor. I would challenge anybody to show me a genuinely funny German-born German person that you're listening to, translating their joke to your language, and you're going, yeah, that's a gasser. Doesn't exist. But then, it's like you Brits got that part, but then the old Humpty Dumpty weirdo stuff with that, they got that.
I don't know about German-born, but our royal family are quite what's got amusing at times. I was going to think about.
They're Ptolemies, man. They go back to old. They're evil reptile people. I thought we covered that earlier with the David Icke thing.
Well, old Phil the Greek certainly isn't a reptile. I mean, he is of Greek descendancy, and he is. If you actually look back through all his famous gaffes throughout the years, he is. I fail to believe that he wasn't born on like a council estate in Greenwich or something. He's got a very working class sense of humor.
Huh. Yeah, and this is the one. This is the one that's killing me. So to hell with Germans. I think they're a bunch of sexually depraved, freaking sick, disgusting. Like all the guys are homos, if you ask me. people sometimes say, well, you know, all the English lads, they sound like puffs. Well, I don't think so. Maybe it's because a lot of you lads are my bros and I've gotten used to talking to you, but I don't. But when I hear a German guy, you know, speak, it's like I hear, now's the time on sprockets when we dance. And I just see like a bunch of queer people that did, you know, will just hump anything that will sit still long enough and are just so sexually depraved. So anyway, I hope that hopefully I've offended any Germans out there.
I'm going to offend them even more.
Yes.
I'm going to offend them. Even when you say things like that, I still hear how evil they really are.
Yes.
Yes. They do have one of the most frightening dialects in the whole world, don't they?
Sounds like they're burping and stuff all the
time. Yeah. Yes, we have ways of making sure that your door has your turd.
Oh, man. Hey, that was as good as Peter Sellers.
No, but I'm sorry. No, but well, nobody's as good as Peter Sellers when it comes to the French accent.
Miss me.
Yeah.
Hey, let's just, I think we can all agree on this, lads. Nobody is as good as Peter Sellers.
No, definitely not.
No, man, he was something else. But this is the one that's itching me. Tell them Germans. The glass ceiling for dogs, bollocks and sense. The glass ceiling for dogs. Males win Westminster almost twice as often. So so like I said, I think it's, you know, 1 out of 3 is a female. New York, after the German Shepherd Rumor won the top, and that's the dog's name, Rumor, won the top prize at last year's Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show in New York. She had her first litter of puppies and retired from competition like many female show dogs. So I guess after they have, because their tits sag and stuff, whatever, you know. By contrast, most top male show dogs can keep competing for years. Oh, do you see the direction they might be going? I haven't read this yet. I just saw the title. And so it's no coincidence that they've also won the Best in Show in the prestigious annual competition far more often than females. Breeders and handlers said as they prepared for this year's show, which opened, blah, 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 blah. Now, she won't show again. She's done, said Gail Miller Bisher, a spokeswoman for Westminster Kennel Club, referring to Rumor, the female dog. Bitch, I think they call her. But males can keep going. See this? I mean, look, man, how on earth? This is coming from Yahoo News. So, and remember, Yahoo News is the ones that broke the ad that they used for the FBI. No shit, boys. They used used Yahoo News to validate the Christopher Steele dossier when Christopher Steele is the one that gave Yahoo News the information.
Well, that's good. Then we can all use this as fucking fake then.
Okay, yes. We can assume. Yeah, so assume what you want. So how is it that this is what they're saying, that this is sexist? Because the female dogs, after they have puppies and they're, you know, they get droopy and whatnot, they can't breed any, they can't show anymore, but the male dogs can. That's fucking
you know what to do then. You know what to do then. The same as the fucking wage gap. Don't have fucking kids. Carry on showing.
Right.
You just fuck's sake. Anyway, wasn't it 1 in 3? Oh, I still win in show. That's a really decent fucking return, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if they can only show to, because, and let's face it, the main reason that the male dogs win often is because the showing of a dog is simply to promote your kennel and your breed. It's so that you can sell puppies, in other words. It really is. That's a big, and so if you have a bitch, yeah, she could have 4, 5, 6 litters. Sometimes 7. If you really didn't care much about your dog, you might be able to go 8. Yeah. But that's it. A male dog? I mean, so you want that male dog. You want to show your males as often as possible, because now you're promoting your kennel, you're promoting your breed, but you can also let that dog go to stud. That male dog, man, he will hump until he ain't got legs left. And as long as he's shooting, you know, straight and not blankers, he's going to be all right. You know what I mean?
Well, even if he's shooting blankers, it doesn't matter. He's still going to be all right. He's just not going to have kids.
Yes, right. Well, but So do you see what I mean? There is a reason why more. I would like to know how many are shown. I've been glancing through this article and I don't see. It says there were 1,220 females and 1,699 male challengers. So there are more males than females in there to begin with. And I'm sure they're not saying it in here, but I'm sure the reason why is because, man, if my female dog wins best of show for Doberman Pinscher, I'm not even going to breed her. I was thinking about having one litter with her so I could keep a couple, but I don't want to breed my dog. But if I was going to, okay, I'd get 5 litters out of my beloved dog. It's the most I'd ever do. And that's it. If it was a male, I can't stress it enough. Boom, hump, hump, hump. You can extract the semen and sell that so they can artificially inseminate. There's a lot of money in that.
There's a hell of a lot of money in that, especially if you were actually do best in show and you only won once, or even come second or third. A lot of the stags at that point, he would be put out to pasture, so to speak. Wouldn't have to compete. Could make enough money off of bitches that want to actually get some money and have puppies that are going to maybe have a chance of winning best in show next time. There's a lot of money in doing stuff like that. But as you said, I wouldn't ever breed females. I don't see the point in that. I don't mind. Like, we've recently had we've got a bitch Rottweiler, and she is quite young. Well, she's not young. She's really small. She's around about 3, and she still only comes up to our knees, so she's really small for a Rye. But we've bred her once because I think that's the right thing to do. That they should have the chance of being able to breed at least once because that's what they're put on the fucking earth for. But I wouldn't go out of my way to then go, well, okay, well, she needs to breed for fucking 4 or 5 times so I can make money off of it. At the end of the day, I'd see her as part of my family, not a business venture.
Yeah, I mean, I would never, if I would have bred my dog, it wouldn't have necessarily been for a business venture in the way that I'm not going to tell you what I paid for her. It was not cheap. And I'm going to get another Doberman. That's the only kind of dog I'll have. So my idea would be I could take 2, get the 2 pick of the litter. They'd be her puppies, and I can sell the rest of them. But, man.
But that's still breeding the once, as I said. That's what I agree with. You can breed with the once so that the dog can actually pass on its genetic information. The whole reason why the meaning of life in general is.
Yeah, I just don't want to. I mean, there's so many things could happen. A baby could turn in her. I'm not a big husbandman like that. I'm not into husbandry. You got to be. And don't get me wrong, my dog's having puppies. I'm going to be there. And if something happened, I would do whatever I had to do. I'd do stuff with chickens and whatnot. I mean, you got to deal with death and with things trying to live and doing things that seem gross at times. I've dealt with wounds on animals many times, but I just don't want to deal with that. No, and you're right. One time isn't bad. I'm still looking through here. They're saying it's so funny. It's almost like they're trying to draw a parallel between female humans and dogs.
Story I found the absolute funniest, which was last week. The fact that they got rid of grid girls because of over-sexualizing them, and they've now changed it to grid kids, and they don't think that the kids are now going to be over-sexualized. And that's from the feminist movement in its fucking self.
Lord have mercy. The grid girls was over-sexualized, so let's make it grid kids.
Yep. That's the feminist logic now. You can't do this because people are looking at you and they're sexualizing you. We're going to take you out of it. Here you go, here's some kids. Don't over-sexualize them, all right, lads?
But also the fact that that's equality for your common sense, which is we're empowering women to be able to do whatever they want, whenever they want, except what we tell them they can and cannot do.
Well, that's the funny thing. It's not even what we're telling them anymore. I feel left out. It's only what other women are telling them what to do now. I feel left out.
Well, admittedly, they don't have the best reputation for intelligence, but they're still doing a job that they chose to do, and they like doing, and they actually make a lot of money. So fucking fair play to them, I say.
Well, even if they didn't make any money, if they still bloody like doing it, who gives a fuck? It's like, I don't like my missus doesn't like working at fucking Asda, but she still fucking goes and does it because she needs to earn the money. Some people don't like it, but it's still her decision to go and work at Asda. She could have chose Tesco's or other supermarkets are available, but but she could have worked it anywhere. It doesn't matter. That's her choice. Fuck me. There's another thing about this one as well. You had question time, which is a thing that comes on a Thursday night, which is
how do you do it? Common Sense, your blood pressure, mate.
Oh fuck me! They had Anna Thornberry on it as well. They had Anna Thornberry on it as well. I couldn't fucking handle it. But the first question, which the panel did not fucking deviate from, everybody was in agreement on this one. The fact that people that work in the distribution centers of the warehouses in Asda or Tesco's or whatever needs to be paid the same as the shop floor worker in the actual stores itself. So
What?
Yeah, exactly. Apparently they need to be paid the same because, Equality Act.
So a person in the warehouse that's driving a forklift, loading the trucks up, getting the orders right, and they need to get paid the same as somebody that's on the floor
stacking a fucking shelf. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see the headline in the Guardian? Common Sense. It did make me chuckle. It said that women on the shop floor are paid an average of £8 an hour, whereas men in the warehouse can earn up to £11 an hour. So they're comparing a maximum to an average.
Right.
Yes, mate. Yeah, I know. But that's the way that they're trying to vindicate this gender pay gap that's supposed to be around.
Well, not doing exactly the same job. Yeah.
Exactly. So you got the point of Anna Forsberry coming out and saying, "Oh, I know it's not the same job, but they should be paid equally because there are comparisons between the jobs, even though it's not the same job.
It's not fucking close to the same pissing job, and I know because I've done both."
I've done both as well.
Yeah.
I've done security in both.
Close enough, mate. Hey, I hope you got paid the same.
Yeah. No, I got paid less than you fuckers. Don't worry, especially in the warehouse.
Late, the time just slipped away from me. We're at our 2-hour mark. I'm probably going to get to the final words. All I can say is I'm very happy. I thought it would be that the team would be broken up tonight, but it didn't look like that worked out that way. We got to get together and have a little bit of a bullshit session. It was fun. And we like to have structure. But it's nice once in a while to just get together and have a little bullshit session also. Gonna say that I believe that Magic Bollox is also, we're gonna be seeing him. Magic, maybe you should tell him because I can't remember what it is. Mondays and Fridays.
I came to the realization yesterday because like a bloody idiot after the Wednesday BNN session, I stayed on till about 1 in the morning talking to everybody. Now I only got about 6 hours kip, and I spent the whole of Thursday hanging like fuck. And it suddenly dawned on me that this was easy when I was still on my Christmas holiday, but since I've gone back to work, I have been struggling a little bit, and I've been denying it to myself. So I'm going to have to drop down to 2 days a week because I just can't cope with doing 3 streams during the week. It's a little bit too much.
Yeah, so maybe look for myself Wednesday, even while Common Sense Guy's gone. We'll rotate some special guests through there. Maybe even Magic Bollox will show up for the first hour, but look for Bollox News Network maybe on the weekends. And if that's what you decide to do, brother.
I know that you probably have already sort of gone through this, and I wasn't involved as per normal.
Oh,
but why couldn't you start off at 8 o'clock and only do an hour?
I'll tell you why Common Sense is because it's funny enough, your starting time at 9 o'clock does actually work out better for me as well, because it's, especially at the moment, is that I get home and I let the animals out, and I want them out for at least a couple of hours, you see. And if I've got to be on at 8, that means they can only be out for like an hour. So then I have to get everything done an hour before. So it makes things a bit tight. Plus, I've got other chores to do as well. So 9 o'clock is the sort of ideal starting time for me now as well.
Yeah, we don't work. I mean, Boggs will tell you, we don't. He just was like, things are getting, and he kind of acted to me like he felt bad about it. I was like, dude, you got to take care of life. So basically what happened was he just told me what was up, and I just said, so you can tell him, Boggs. I mean, what do I say? I always say, no worries, mate. That's what I say. I don't even.
I generally felt bad because I really don't. I mean, I know this is just a hobby more than anything else, but I do. Once you get started and you're doing it, you do feel kind of bad if you've got to back out to a certain extent. Yeah.
But you've had Coach Redpool on your channel.
Yeah, well, that was the
little unexpected as well, mate. It was very strange.
That was the night, and it wasn't Coach Red Pill, I don't think. By the time I left, I was late. When I went out Bollocks that night, my furnace went out. I couldn't even then have and I got a big old furnace outside. When I got to build a fire, I'm out there, and it was dark and wind's blowing. And so anyway, yeah, we got drawn into it. Bollocks was in there when I left.
I've only got 10 minutes left on my laptop battery, so
yeah, so let's do it. Let's have our final words, and there should be plenty of time, and we'll do it. And thank you so much, boys. Well, all I can say for sure is that I'm always honored and proud every time that you two gentlemen are here with me. I think we got a good little dealio, and I can't say it enough. I'm honored and proud to have y'all. So we'll do it. Bollocks, you know what to do. Starting with you.
Right. Well, I'm going to say to everybody today that first off, I'm going to apologize for having to reduce my weekly shows with the boys, just simply because I have to remember that this is fun, and if fun starts becoming a problem, you got to rein it in a bit, and I can't allow it to cause me problems with my normal job, because unfortunately, that's the thing at the moment. I need to bring in the money to be able to have a life and afford to do stuff like this. So I apologize to everybody that Wednesdays will not be the Bollocks News Network any longer. Mr. Ogre will fill the gap doing something instead, so you won't be deprived. There'll still be something to watch, something to entertain you, and Common Sense will be back shortly on a Wednesday as well. So I'm sure that they'll happily invite guests in, like I don't know, Common Sense Best Friend Zero or some other equally obnoxious member of the chat. Please come in and annoy everybody. But I will not be gone completely. I will try and do BNN on Saturdays, maybe, because at the moment I've been doing my Bollocks Gamer live stream on a Saturday, and I probably shouldn't, because that seems to be the worst day for playing games for me, if last week was anything to go by. So that might happen instead. But well, we'll see on that. And anyway, in terms of final words, I just want to spread a little optimism to you all, which is we're still quite early into this year, and even though it's been a little bit unpredictable how things are going to go, I'm quite optimistic this year is going to be good for the ordinary people. I've just got this good feeling that this year is going to be interesting. Let's put it that way. I could be wrong, but I do have this gut feeling. So I think myself, Mr. Ogre, and Mr. Common Sense are going to have a good year. I think our subs are going to grow. They certainly have since Monday, and I just think that something's good's on the horizon. Don't know what it is, but something's telling me it is. And I only hope that those who are listening at the moment feel that something's good coming from them as well. And I certainly do hope it does for you too. So I'm going to sign off by saying thank you very much for coming. Everybody in the chat, you're all wonderful people, as well as Billy Joe Quinn. You're disgusting. And
yes.
And to Common Sense, thank you for coming tonight. We didn't expect you, but you were here. Well, pleasure as always. And Mr. Ogre, one of the finest channels on YouTube. Do keep it up, sir.
Oh, cheers.
Thank you very much, Bollocks. I thought that was a load of bollocks.
That's the idea, mate.
I don't really have too much to say today. I'm very, very grateful that I was able to come on and be able to shitpost with a couple of the lads and that. So I'm very, very, very happy I was able to do that. Unfortunately, the main reason why I wasn't able to do the channel for myself today is I'm not actually at home at the minute, which is the reason why I'm worrying about my laptop being charged. I'm currently sitting in my car in the middle of a field because I've got some, not work, but a mate's lent us something to do so I can do some money for cash and hand job. So helping myself to help you to help get a computer.
It doesn't sound good. I just want to say that.
It's fine. The field is fine. There's just some equipment in it, and I've got my coffee, and I've got some other stuff. I'll be fine. I'm not going to put it in my penis, Billy Joe. I am not going to do that. It does not charge that way. It charges using my anus. But enough of that. But I just wanted to say thank you for everybody that's still subbed to me. I know my video selection hasn't been up at this moment in time, and I haven't been doing. Hi? Can anybody hear me, or has everybody left?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finished. Carry on.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if you were just. I might have been the only one that couldn't hear. I don't know what the hell just happened.
I have no idea.
I thought you were off. I thought you went off the air.
No, mate. No. I'm still here. I've got about another 3 minutes.
Carry on.
No, I'm fine, mate. No, I'm finished. As I said,
okay, good. Well, I guess that worked out good for me. I had no idea. I'd lost the last at least 45 seconds of that, and I was trying to figure out what happened. It appears that everyone else could hear you. So anyway, yeah, I'm not going to take a lot of time. Common Sense doesn't have much time left, and I've got to go take care of some business myself because, like Magic Bollox was pointing out, much as we'd love to get lost in our fantasy world here, we do have real lives. We have things we got to do. And I can't let the fire go out. Got no good, hardcore good advice for you this weekend. I think I'm just gonna keep it to this. Life's a jolly joke. We don't know when it's gonna end. We don't even remember when it started. People tell us we were born in such and so hospital or in this room with a midwife or whatever. We're told, but we don't remember it, and so we don't know where we came out of or where we're going to. And it's just some kind of time. I've read somewhere that we're born astride the grave, and that it's a lot of demand for a short time of miserable life, and then he dies, and all these things, and they're all true. And that said, listen, get a little life this weekend. Grab a little bit of life. Go out there and do something that you love to do. If it's smoke cigarettes or sit on the porch and drink whiskey, do that thing. If it's hike up the mountain and observe wildlife, or maybe even kill that wildlife to eat it or something like that, go do that thing. Do the thing that you love, because you don't know how much longer you got to do it. That is a stone cold fact. And I'll tell you what else. You can forget everything that Bollox has ever told you, be it good or bad, or Common Sense Guy. You can take all the advice I've ever given you, roll it up, smoke it like a doobie. None of it matters, folks, as long as you remember this. Be good to your friends. Be good to your family members. Be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, your family member, your loved one has done seems to be so huge you'll never be able to forget about it. Because constant viewers, my beloved co-hosts, at a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, your life, and your aggravating ass dog will depart from you. Have a good weekend.